From loneliness to isolation, that is today's topic. Hi there, I'm Angela Brown, and I am a content creator, and I am recovering from burnout yet again. This is my journey. I'm excited that you joined me here today, and for those of you that are watching the replay, leave your questions and your comments in the notes below. We're going to be answering those as much as we possibly can, day by day, and I'm going to be jumping back in the comments here to help you out. The reason that I'm documenting this is to help myself out, because as a content creator, we go through lots of burnout on various ebbs and flows of our content creation journey. And it can be a really lonely game. And today we're going to talk about from loneliness on our way back to inspiration. And I want to highlight the fact that many content creators get in the content creation game as a way to overcome their loneliness. Many of them are running from loneliness, and many of them are running from a world that they didn't like or didn't approve of. And I'm talking about the way that we were brought up. And so I'm not a therapist, and I'm not actually able to solve your family problems, but I do want to highlight that everybody has them. And until we're able to actually look at them straight in the eye and address them, it's going to haunt us through our entire content creation journey. So there are a lot of content creators that are trying to work out their issues, and it comes through in their work. And so the more aware you are and the more mindful you are of your past and your present situation, the clearer your message is going to be. All right. So one of the things that I want to focus on is lots of content creators sit at their desks all day and they create, or they're creating, videos and TikToks and social media and things like that, at the risk of the people who love them and that are trying to be their support system, which is their family. It could be their spouse, it could be their children, it could be their parents, whoever is in their home, they are affected by that content creator, okay? But I'm going to look today at one step outside that. That's going to be our extended family. So for me, for example, I'm an adult and I don't have the siblings that I had living in my house growing up. But I still have siblings and I still have parents that are living. And there were issues growing up with my siblings and my parents that were unresolved. And I'm the fourth oldest of 19 kids. Mom and dad had one kid every year, my entire year growing up, my entire life. And so growing up, I was a number and a name. I really wasn't a person. I didn't really feel like I mattered. I didn't feel like what I said was important. And so part of what I started doing when I was creating is I was like, wait a second, I have a voice. Listen to me, right? I have a platform now. Listen to me. My voice matters. And that's not uncommon for content creators. Content creators are like, I still have something to prove to my parents. I want to prove that I have value. I want to prove my worth. If parents were really reinforcing the academic nature of their kids will become content creators to prove how smart they are. And if their parents abandoned them when they were young, they have reached out to have a message of no abandonment and things like that. They're trying to overcome that and then help other people overcome the same issues. So until we actually address those issues and we resolve the things from our past, it's really hard to create a new future. And if we're always having that tug of war with our past and then this new future that we're trying to create, which is this beautiful world that we've created of content creation in hopes of repairing the old world we left behind, what happens is it struggles us into burnout mode. And so if we can resolve this past over here, it's going to help us with the new future that we're creating. It's going to be a much more seamless process and it's going to go much more smoothly. So how do we go from isolation and loneliness to inspiration and creativity? Right? I've asked for 14 hours of your week. And I know that many of you are going, what's with the 14 hours? The 14 hour is an investment in yourself. You've got 168 hours in a week. I'm asking for 14 of them in order to help you recover from burnout. This is not a 1 week thing. This is an every week thing. I need 14 hours every single week in order to keep you from burnout. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to take one of those 14 hours a week. We're going to take 1 hour and we are going to be, check this out, available to our family. 1 hour per week to be available to our family. So what I'm saying is this: let's go back in the past of all of the dysfunctions that have made us who we are today. and let's take a look at them one by one. Now, I'm not asking for any heavy duty repairs. I'm not asking for lots of therapy. I'm not asking, it might take years. I'm not kidding you. It might take years. What I'm asking you to do is for 1 hour a week, be available to the people that brought you up in this environment. And so if you have parents, make yourself available. And I'm talking about a Zoom call. Put together a Zoom call because we're content creators. We all know how to make a Zoom call. You hit record and you sit there, there's a camera, and you're face to face with people that raised you. And if you are the parent, it might be your kids that are now not talking to you. If you're like me and you're in the 50s, you might have siblings that are in the 40s and 50s that have gone on and they've moved away and you haven't seen them in years. And maybe if you're like me, I have brothers and sisters that I see once a year at a family reunion, and we pretty much don't talk in between. It's not that I don't like them. It's not that we don't get along. It's just that we've gone our separate ways. During COVID, everyone was feeling the isolation. And so during COVID, my parents, who are elderly now, are 2,500 miles away. So we thought instead of us trying to commute and give them bad germs, because it was not cool to commute during COVID, but during that time, we all learned how to use Zoom. Everyone in my family learned how to use Zoom, including my elder parents. So what happened is once a week, Sunday night at 7 p.m. for 1 hour, we put it on our calendars and we said, we're going to have a family reunion 1 hour per week. Here's what happened. The first 6 months, lots of the brothers and sisters showed up. And again, I'm from a family of 19 kids. I've got 12 brothers and there's 7 girls in my family. And so some of them showed up, some of them didn't. And it was kind of a revolving door of who's going to show up this week and say hi. For 6 months, it was like, hi, how you doing? And we caught up on the kids and the grandkids and the nieces and the nephews and lots of surface conversations. And there are a lot of polarizing ideas in my family. Okay, you can't have a family that big without having some really radical beliefs. So I was a little concerned, like, oh no, am I opening up a Pandora's box that I'm not going to be able to close one day? What happened is this: when you put a whole bunch of people face forward on a camera, and that's what Zoom is it's a whole entire family on one little tiny screen. Everybody's looking at each other and we only have 1 hour of time. There's no time for fighting. And everyone is on their best behavior. And so for 6 months, it was everyone on their best behavior saying, hi, how you doing? Here's what's going on in my life. As a content creator, this is not your chance to try to prove anything to anyone. This is not your chance to try to prove how smart you are or to one-up each other's stories. This is your chance to go back to yesterday's concept of repeat and the 5 I heard yous. Repeat and the 5 I heard yous. If you missed that yesterday, go back to day 3, where I explain the 5 I heard yous and the repeat concept and how you can get through any conversation without conflict. This is that practice. But now we're doing it with our family and the people that we grew up through these dysfunctional family relationships with. And I want to share something with you. Everyone has a fast and fun dysfunctional family that they came from. And we can sit there and we can just trip out and make ourselves miserable thinking about how awful our lives were growing up. Or we can say, you know what? That person brought me who I am today. And since I moved away from home all those years ago, I've grown up a little bit and I've matured a little bit and I've been through therapy on my own and I've learned some new things and I have a new set of skills. And now I can go back in my past and I can open up this window and I can say, do you want to join me for 1 hour? Do you want to talk? Do you want to reconnect? And if not, that's okay. Within a couple of months, you'll know whether or not your siblings or your parents or your kids want to actually reconnect and be friends by choice. Because as we move away from the kids that we grew up with, that we call our family, we create a family of our own. And that family of our own includes strangers and relatives and friends. And so now we have a new family and a new pocket of people that we hang out with. But is there any chance that this weird upbringing that we had and the people that were in it want to reconnect? Let's give them a chance to reconnect. Here's what happened after month 6. What's really interesting is some of the same siblings started showing up time after time after time, and some of them stopped coming. The ones that started coming started forming a closer knit bond than before. Like, wait a minute, I do want to be friends by choice. And then after about 6 months, and we got all of the hi, how you doings out of the way, what we started doing is introducing a family topic. This week, we would like to talk about this and how is this affecting you in your work or your personal life? And talk about therapy. We started coming up with some deeper conversations. And then what was really interesting is we put together a family contact sheet where although we'd all gone our separate ways and the kids are married now and they have kids of their own and our family's this really big, huge entity, what happened is everybody started adding their birthdays and their anniversaries and their kids and their kids' birthdays and making a reconnection, kind of like a little genealogy sheet to figure out who everybody is and how everybody connects. We added in our phone numbers and our emails and our Venmo. Now, what's interesting about the Venmo is this. No one was asking for any money. But as the conversations would arise and someone was authentic enough to say, hey, I'm struggling with this right now, without any fanfare and without anyone having a GoFundMe page, there were members of the family that started quietly behind the scenes sending Venmo to that person, saying, hey, I know you need a little bit of extra money this month. Here, I had some to give. There was a family member that was struggling to try to come up with the money to buy a vehicle because their vehicle was 21 years old. There were a couple of members of the family that had the money to give, and they were able to pull their resources together and with Venmo give enough money that this family member could get a vehicle. So without people asking, hey, I'm struggling and I need money, and that was never the case. They never, ever, ever asked for any money. But just in conversation, if you are aware and you are listening, there are ways you can help. There are also phone calls that have happened behind the scenes where the phone might ring at 6 o'clock in the morning. And one of the siblings will be on the phone for me and say, hey, you said something in our call the other night, and I just wanted to let you know that I know today's a big day for you, and I'm thinking about you, and I'm rooting for you. How cool is that? Where kids from my past, these are my immediate siblings, said, you still matter to me. Maybe I didn't matter as a kid. Maybe I was just a number or a name. Maybe I wasn't important enough back then that we could have those conversations. But like I said, we're all more mature now. Yeah, we've all been through a lot of pain, and there's a lot of suffering that many of the siblings in my family have carried with them through their entire adult lives. But because they carried them through the entire adult life, it doesn't mean they have to keep carrying those burdens. They can stop and drop those burdens off along the way. It's like carrying a great big heavy gym bag. At some point during the day, you're going to put it down. Your workout is over. You don't have to carry it with you through the whole day, right? So those burdens that we've carried with us through our entire lives, you can keep carrying them if you want, but you don't have to. And your 1 hour per week is going to be the avenue that is possible that might change. Now, excuse me, I can't promise you that it will change. I can't promise you that your family will have matured. I know with my husband's family, and to me, they're very toxic. They're lovely people, but we don't connect. Our energy is off. And for the 21 years I've been married, I've been trying endlessly to try to patch those connections. And as I reintroduced myself into their life, it was only a matter of a couple of months before I was like, you know what? I was right. This is still really toxic energy, and I am healthier when I'm not in their space. And they are healthier when they are not in my space. And so let's agree to go our separate directions. Okay. So that might happen for you as well. And I'm giving you permission to make that decision. But I want you to reconnect just to see if by chance there's a healing. Now, talk about healing. A couple of interesting things happened. Last week, and this is now 3.5 years of 1 hour a week of the whole entire family getting together for a virtual family reunion. Last week, my dad and 8 of my brothers went on a week-long men's retreat. And it was only for them. This wasn't through a church or anything. This was just them. And they have never done this in all the years that they've been a family. And we've been a family for many, many years, right? We're in the 40s and 50s now, and dad's in the 70s, but they've never got together like this, ever. And this was only the brothers and dad. And they got together and they had a week of camping and singing and talking and chatting and working through these issues. But it never would have happened had every single week they not got together, because it took a long time to peel back the layers of the onions and to say, and I say an onion as if the person with all these layers of self-doubt and fear and anxiety and pressure and ego was the layers of the onion, right? They peeled back layers of the onion week after week going, wait a minute, who are you? Who are you really? And is it safe here for you to be authentic? Is it safe for me to be authentic? And then going, you know what, we have different ideas, but I think we can still love each other. I think we can still find a common ground. And so this was a healing week where they got together and they came back and they were like, oh my goodness, we can't believe we've never done this. My mother, who's in her 70s, had a similar week with her sisters about 2 weeks prior, where it was all of her sisters that got together for a week of healing. Now, what's interesting about this is nobody made them do that. They did not go to a therapist that encouraged them to do this. This was week after week after week after week of showing up and then reuniting and becoming friends again, and then saying, what do we have to offer each other at this phase of our lives? Now, one of the reasons I bring that up is because many people, especially during these times, are lonely. Many people are isolated. And if you're a content creator, that is your norm. That is the normal space that you live in. So yesterday we talked about getting out of your comfort zone for 15 minutes a day and meeting new people, talking to the people in the locker room at the gym, talking to your neighbors as you're out walking the dog, talking to the other parents that are at the school bus stop to drop off their kids, right? We're talking about going a little bit outside your comfort zone and expanding that horizon. One of the interesting things is when you have 1 hour a week where you start entertaining the idea of speaking with your family, what happens is all the stuff that you've been holding and the grudges you've been holding for years start to dissipate. It's like that's not so important anymore. Now, I want to share something with you. And as you go into the process of giving this a try, because I want you to give it a try, I want you to leave notes in the comments below. Let me know, did you try it and what happened? Here's a heads up. Here's what's going to happen. When you have a conversation with someone of a different generation, for example, this would be me and my mom, it is okay if you don't see eye to eye. You probably never will. My mother is 25 years older than I am, and she is a generation older than I am. She grew up with different things going on in her life than I did. People that are 25 years younger from me have a whole bunch of technology experience that I do not have. Okay. So it's a different generation. I'm not going to see eye to eye with them, and they're not going to see eye to eye with me, and that's okay. And if I hurry and I try to grow up really fast and I try to catch up with my mom, guess what? She's still going to be 25 years older, and she still lived 25 years more experience than I have. She will always have 25 years more experience than I do. Always. Okay. So I will never catch up to her. So when I meet her on a Zoom call, I'm meeting her at my level. She's meeting me at her level, which is a completely different experience. As you go into these family reunions, there are a couple of kids in my family that are like a year or two older or younger than I am. We're probably going to see closer eye to eye because we grew up through the same environment and the same situation and the same technology growths and the same things other than my parents. And my parents are at a way different level than their grandkids. There are two generations. There's a 50-year gap, right? So what happens is you can't expect that everyone is going to see everything eye to eye. So as you have these family reunions, go in with your eyes wide open, like, hey, I'm curious. I'm here meeting you out of curiosity. I'm not here to fix you. I'm not here to solve anything. I'm here out of curiosity. Who are you and what did you become? So I'm going to request that you have a 1 hour family reunion. And here's what the week looks like. Here's the 14 hours a week. 14 hours a week. The progress tracking, which we talked about in the beginning, is going to be 15 minutes a day. This is going to take you 1 hour and 45 minutes per week. That's 7 days a week, where you're tracking your progress. You're tracking what you ate. You're tracking how much you slept. You're tracking the ability to steps that you took, the calories that you burned, the food that you ate, how much you weighed, the sleep that you slept, all the things, right? You're tracking all of that. The meditation workouts we talked about yesterday, and the meditation workouts are the working out without the podcasts and without interruption. So this is you putting on a pair of running shoes and going outside and burning the calories while you're meditating and you're letting your thoughts process. Okay. So that's going to take you 1 hour a day. That is 7 hours a week. Okay. So going back to the process here, the social chit chat, is going to be 15 minutes a day. And we talked about that yesterday in the sense that when you go to the gym, you're going to say hi to the person that is at the front counter. You're going to say hi to the people in the locker room. You're going to make some friends. If you're out walking your dog, you're going to stop the neighbors and introduce yourself and say hi. 15 minutes of chit chat per day. Okay. Then we're going to do a family reunion, which is 1 hour per week. So your 14 hours of recovery per week. This is what this looks like. And you have 3 hours and 30 minutes of flex time. Now, I know you never thought that I would add flex time in for you, but I did. Here's the reason why. The flex time is one of those areas is going to get out of whack every day. You're going to say hi to somebody and you're going to go a little bit over on your time. Might take 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here. That's okay. You got 3.5 hours of flex time. That includes your trip to and from the gym if you drive 5 or 10 miles to the gym every day to get to the gym, right? So I added in some time for you to get to the gym, or if you're out walking your dog or whatever, and you chitty chat with one of the neighbors a little bit longer. If you're on a family reunion call and you go 1 hour and 10 minutes, you ate into your 3 hours and 30 minutes a little bit, right? Your 3.5 hours. So altogether, it's going to be 14 hours a week. And the reason I bring this up is because if you do this process every single week, what you're going to start noticing is you're going to start healing from a variety of different areas in your life, from the isolation and the loneliness to the creativity and the inspiration. Your health and your wellness is going to start to repair itself. Your personal relationships are going to start to repair themselves. The social interactivity is going to start to repair itself, and so on. All right. So that is it for the overallness of the family reunion. All right. Now, quick update on yesterday, and then I'll let you guys go for today. The quick update, we talk about sleep. Sleep is really important. I slept for 5 hours and 30 minutes last night, which is a huge improvement for me. Going on to our next slide, I'm going to go through this fast because I'm out of time. Hydration, I drank 112 ounces yesterday, so I'm doing really good, and I'm finding that's kind of my norm. My content creator fasting. I'm now fasting on a 20-hour window. And so I was able to fast for 20 hours yesterday. I ate during a 4-hour window. Today, I'm feeling just fine with my energy. And I took it easy in the swimming pool this morning, which is the next slide here. I took it easy in the swimming pool. I swam laps. I'm working on my strength, and I'm working on my stroke, and I'm working on my breathing. But I did jump in the pool and I swam today, having a little bit of food behind me. I felt a little safer doing the actual swimming. When we talk about the nourishment, I did break my diet, and coming back on the food, I'm eating healthy foods. So I ate 2 eggs for my protein. I ate a red delicious apple for my carbohydrates, which is just raw energy. I had my spinach smoothie, which has a banana in it as well. And it's got my flaxseed and my protein. I'll leave a link in the notes to the smoothie that I have, just in case you want to give it a try. It's pretty awesome. And then last night for dinner, I had a tossed green salad, and I had 4 ounces of grilled chicken on it. And so I felt full. I completely feel full today. I do not feel malnourished. I do not feel hungry. I'm feeling pretty good. So, 3 cheers for all of that. My moods have been really serene and calm, no stress. I feel fantastic. I'm feeling very confident. And I think that the whole process of my reboot has really been encouraging and good for me. I do want to talk about the business impact for a second. My business is doing really well. And I know over the last week, I have started to spend a lot more quality time instead of just struggling time at the computer trying to get stuff done. And where was I? And what am I working on? And feeling scattered and interrupted. I feel a whole lot more laser focused, and that's helping me get my work done even quicker. I do have a challenge, and we're talking about challenges really quick. One of the challenges that I have is yesterday, I had my second podcast cancellation for the week. And that's frustrating for me because it's a 1-hour live stream podcast YouTube show. And we have guests that are highly recommended, and they come through their agents, and they fill out a media release form. And then we do a lot of social media promotion to promote them as our guest. We ask questions from our YouTube viewers and our Facebook viewers in advance. We pull together all of our questions. We send the questions to the guest. We confirm about 11 times with them that, yes, they're going to show up. We've got this process where we do a whole bunch of search engine optimization and a whole bunch of media coverage and a whole bunch of stuff to promote the show. And then second time this week, I've had a cancellation. So I'm sitting here going, okay, there's a glitch in my system and I need to fix that. So I don't know what this system is yet, but I need to fix that system because it's a lot of work for a no call, no show. So there you go. All right, that's my challenge for this week. The progress. As far as my heart goes, I feel like the working out has really improved my heart. I feel like I'm good on my heart. And I feel like this is going to drop off my list after this week because I no longer am focusing on getting my heart better because I think I'm good. The knee surgery, I'm still recovering from my knee surgery. I'm not at 100% yet, but today I was swimming the breaststroke. And so this is slow, but it is my knee going in a different direction. And the inflammation is completely gone in my knee. And so I'm really excited about that because now when I try to swim, there's a small catch in my knee, but it's not painful. So I'm like, okay, I think I'm on the mend. So I'm super excited about that. As far as the menopause goes, I've started focusing on learning a little bit more about natural supplements that are over-the-counter supplements that are like herbal remedies that I can use to help combat the weirdness that's going on with the menopause. So I don't have an answer for that yet either, but I'm in the process of doing some research and development. So I'm super excited about that. All right. So I want you to follow me if you haven't already, lifelongproductions.com/burnout. I have a list of all the different things that I'm working on every single day on my journey to burnout recovery. I also have before and after pictures of my progress. I have little notes from things that happened at the gym and things that happened at work, and kind of like a little daily journal of stuff that's happening just so that you might be able to go, oh yeah, I'm going through something like that as well. So if you have questions or comments, you can leave those in the notes below. And then also I do want to give a shout out to Lifelong Productions. This show is brought to us by Lifelong Productions, and they host a group mastermind every single week for content creators who are working through burnout. So I want to give them a shout out as well. And if you want to join us, you can learn more about that over on lifelongproductions.com. All right. So that is it for today as far as the progress goes. And I want to remind you in the process of going through burnout yourself, you don't have to go through this alone. The isolation is not necessary. Being lonely is not necessary. And so my goal for you today is to put together your first virtual family reunion. And I want you to leave comments in the notes below because I want to hear how it goes. I'm here rooting for you, and I'm hearing how the connection went. And who knows what's going to happen, but you never know until you try. But moving forward, it will be a lot smoother if we can resolve the issues from our past. All right, with that, have a great day. And I want to remind you of two things. Number one, you matter. And number two, you are enough.